That's a good boy.
And we're back.
We are back after a long week.
After a long week. I almost cussed, but I didn't feel like it. It almost wanted to be there, but it didn't quite make it.
Oh, it'll sneak out eventually.
Oh, it'll get in there. Don't you worry about that. I can't tell you how many
episodes I start in my mind where I'm like, I'm not going to curse or say anything crazy during this one, but then eventually the goat breaks the leash.
All the best podcasts cuss.
Yeah.
That's just science.
Before we get too much into it, though, we decided to do our due diligence. We've set up this Patreon account, and we've been getting a lot of love from a small amount of individuals, and we've not done our due diligence with them. So we're going to start doing that, giving it its proper plug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So our Patreon supporters that we would like to thank for making all this possible, we have Evelyn, who's been with us since Ground Zero.
Yeah.
With some crazy donations.
Been slapping that mad cash.
Yeah, slapping that cash. We felt like we actually got naked and we danced on poles.
Yeah.
We felt like whores. And, at first it sounded bad, but I really didn't mind it.
Yeah, believing in the dream,
Yeah.
Gotta love her.
So she's in the $20 group, which all this is going to get revamped. We're going to pay up our dues for everything.
Yeah.
We've not been good at adulting.
No, we're going to get better at it, though.
Get some bumper stickers sent out. Get some other things rolling. We got these raw episodes that we've been plugging that are just, 20 minutes, 10, 20 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
Beforehand, we're going to put those on the private feed for Patreon supporters and what have you. Secondly, we have Jess, who is just Jess with a cat face, it looks like. Mm. Maybe a hamster.
Yeah.
Can't really tell. $10 club.
Mm.
We thank you.
Mm.
We love you.
Oh.
We got Agris Girl. I'm assuming they don't want us to say their names.
Yeah. Unless they actually put in their names, like our next one.
Right. Agris Girl, $10 club. She's been waking us up. She's probably responsible for all of our anarchy.
Yeah.
Because she started hitting me with it, and I was a resistant sleepyhead.
I was permanently resistant. Yeah. And then,
if you go through our back catalog, you'll hear it.
Man, it's an evolution. I tell you what, it is just an evolution of us going from. We were always libertarian, so we were always kind of on the edge, anyways.
Statey, though.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
But thank you, Agris Girl, for your money and for your red pill. Change my life.
Yeah. And hashtag Illumined.
Yes. Hopefully we change the life of others.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Catherine Marie Doherty.
Saint Catherine.
I've been meaning to bring a grill candle lighter rather, so we can light our candle again.
Yeah.
Receive her blessings.
Exactly.
But that's our Patreon.
We'd love to, if you want to contribute.
Patreon.com/bones.
You'll be on the show whenever you contribute. And we'd like to thank you all for this because as actually a guy contacted me yesterday about how to start a podcast. And I didn't want to scare him out of it by telling him all the things you have to do. But I had to be honest with him. I had to be honest with him. And I said the best thing to do would be to start with cheaper microphones.
Yeah.
Right? I suggested the Yeti Snowball, like what we started with. Yeah. And I said start with that because it plugs directly in the computer and you could just record it directly on Audacity. It makes it a little easier on that front. Mm-hmm. But the quality's just not as good. But then I told him, I was like, what you do is you get, I was like, start out on YouTube. I was like, don't put money in a Podbean or any of those yet. Start on YouTube, get a semi-decent following going.
Yeah.
Friends, family and stuff like that. People you know.
Enemies.
Yeah, even enemies. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And you get them going into it. And then, I was like, then you slap it with a Patreon.
Right.
I was like, because then you can use that Patreon money to buy better equipment.
Yeah. Right.
Like we did.
Thank you.
And I said you needed a dedicated studio.
Yeah.
There was other things I told him.
Who is it? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He wants to start, and I told him, I was like, if you start it, I was like, we could do cross promotion, and I could get your show out there.
Yeah.
I was like, we have a decent following, and I was like, we can try to get some listeners your way. I wanted to check that, and I wanted to make sure he wasn't trying to sneaky snake into our
wheelhouse.
Our wheelhouse.
Yeah. No,
which he isn't. So that's good.
He kind of I've been reading some of his stuff, and he's been going the route of positivity. So I thought maybe that was what his realm was.
positivity and like small business entrepreneurship stuff
That's
like
good.
that.
He made it out of the factory of sadness. It did not
Yeah.
get its claws in there. I can't.
And
be
apparently,
happier for him.
him and his buddy had their own like little real estate business going on.
Hell yeah.
So he has applied knowledge here on the subject. So I told him more power to him, and I said, if you need anything else, just let us know. I was like, we've been doing this for what, like a year and a half now.
Yeah,
I was like, we're still figuring out the formula.
for sure.
But
We are lifelong learners, if nothing else.
yeah,
I think that's the true road to perfection.
we're
External alchemy.
We're like 60 something, like 64, 65 episodes
Yeah.
into the show.
60. This might be 65 or 66. I don't remember.
So in reality, what is that like? Over probably,
We missed a couple weeks due to life, but
I would wager it has to be about 80 hours of content at this point.
yeah. Well, I mean, according to metrics, just on YouTube, which is small potatoes
Yeah.
compared to the podcast downloads, but we gave YouTube 26,000 minutes of content and people's attention.
Yeah.
I should just say just people's attention.
And didn't get a goddamn dime for it.
Fuck them.
You know, I'm not saying what that Iranian chick did was right,
But
she was just expressing the frustration of a generation of people that use
the
YouTube as a
collective
platform.
frustration of us all.
Yeah. I'm not advocating violence.
Right. Before we get arrested for a felony, I figured we'd just jump into it.
Sounds good to me.
So I wanted to start by I've got all these underground, some would say occulted
Yeah.
ways of finding different news stories, but today's a special day,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to do that yet.
Okay.
This time, I just want to tell everyone that we love you for real,
Yeah.
and if in the event that thermonuclear war breaks out, just have a plan.
Yeah.
Maybe that plan could be hiding underground. Maybe it could be going somewhere out of the blast radius. But our plan, because we're so close to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, is just to make a strong drink and sit by the window and wait for it to fucking happen.
Yeah. See, the thing is, this is the one thing I'm going to put in before this nuclear war hits out. If I had a message to put out there, that would be that never forget that you need to take care.
Yes.
Okay.
Be careful.
Be careful.
Full of care.
Okay. But in a more chaotic time, you also need to be more severe.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to, put Joaquin and Boaz into full time. Okay. Because you need to take care of you, your family, your neighbors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you don't know who's coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm thinking about getting rid of the 3 strikes policy that I have for people. I have a 3 strikes policy in my life, personal relationships.
do I have any strikes?
No.
Oh, good. I'm just checking to make
Right.
sure. I never know if there was some sort of trespass I might have done in the past.
You're on 2.
Oh, okay.
No. But I don't think there's any room for strikes in that scenario, unless
Oh,
it's
no.
family. But I mean, just be careful. Have care. Take care.
Take care.
Maybe go to the store and buy some extra food. Hold it down. You got to have water and food.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think, too, that essential services are going to be shut down. The plan that we've talked about in previous shows with these cock-sucking elites, see, that's how far I made it before I lost.
Yeah, see.
But we've been made to absorb a first strike nuclear event, whether that be an EMP, whether that be a bomb, whether it be both.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why for the last 2 decades we've had special counsels set up on Senate hearing committees in Congress by concerned citizens, some of them millionaires, offering to fund the program to harden our electrical system. And it's been shot down every time. It's relatively cheap compared to the amount of things we spend fucking money on.
Yeah.
But we're wide open for it. If the sun hiccups, if an EMP goes off, we'll be in the dark ages.
So let me ask this. I know these things already, but I figured our listeners don't. So we'll kind of have this dialogue where it's 2 people talking about what you need to be prepared for.
2 people talking.
Okay, so I would say we had a group text earlier that the first thing I would think you definitively need is iodine.
Yeah.
You need to get your hands on some iodine, liquid iodine for water purification.
Yeah.
Because did you know that I think it's for every half gallon of water, 2 or 3 drops of iodine is enough to purify it after a half hour?
I did not know that.
Yes.
See, that was enlightening to me because I've seen it. I knew deep down that liquid iodine did that, but I didn't know how easy it was.
You just drop it in, but you gotta wait. Set that egg timer 30 minutes.
You gotta shake it or just set it and forget it?
You drop it. You might want to stir it a little bit just to get it going, but you still need to wait 30 minutes. Also, FYI, you can do your own filters with rocks, a mixture of rocks, sand, charcoal.
Yeah.
Repeat the process. Put it in a barrel. Imagine a barrel.
Sand first, right?
Sand first.
So the smaller layers toward the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So I'm
the
picturing
smaller particulates go small, medium, large. Small, medium, large. Do it about at least twice.
I saw that on an episode of something where they taken plastic garbage cans and then layered sand and rocks and charcoal.
Any kind of can or something, you can put a hole in the bottom of it for a spout.
Yeah.
And then you pour water into it and it'll filter it. That's not to say that's the only process. That'll get like large particulates out.
Right.
You need to still use iodine to completely purify the water. And plus, you need iodine in your diet anyways. Otherwise, you'll end up with goiters on your thyroid.
In the back days of the 50s, I think it was, we had iodine added to our bread and a lot of other food staples. And now the only thing it remains in, as far as I know, is salt.
Yeah, iodized salt.
They've done their best, the eugenicists, to remove it from our diet.
And that was going to be the next thing I said. Definitively, you need to at least keep a good working order of is salt.
Yeah.
You need salt.
I'll also hijack it for a moment. Some other cheap things that you can have on hand that I make a habit of buying every time I go to Walmart and I shoplift. You can get for like 96 cents or some shit like that. You can get 96%. I think it's a penny per percentage. Look at that.
Yeah.
Cheap though. 96% isopropyl alcohol.
There you go.
And some hydrogen peroxide. You start stocking up on that shit. I learned this the other day. Hydrogen peroxide does not kill germs.
No, doesn't it just destroy, doesn't it just destroy cellular activity or something like that?
It stops cellular activity, and it's what they call debribing. So if there's any particulates in the cut,
it'll wash it
them
out. Okay, so it's more or less like, it's a more amped up version of saline, which saline only really is just an irrigant. It's a way to flush something
Clean
out of
it out. So you hit it with that hydrogen peroxide said wound, and then you hit it with some alcohol. Bite down on a 22 shell and enjoy the ride.
And also, super glue can be used instead of sutures.
Copy.
Yeah. Also, I know mainstream doctors say you don't need to get vitamins.
Man, fuck a mainstream doctor right in the ass.
But here's the thing, especially around here, if you live in our area, we talked about this before. We know what kind of fruits you need to get the vitamins you need.
Strawberries for vitamin C, prevent some scurvy.
Blackberries too.
Yeah.
But you need more than just vitamin C. You need a lot of vitamins. And unfortunately, if you even selenium, which the thing is selenium, unless you're eating dirt, is hard to come by.
Sometimes you got to eat a mud pie.
Yeah. And like I said, this might all sound alarming to our regular listeners, but
it really shouldn't.
We care about you.
We do care, and I think that we deliver it in such a dry tone because we've been waiting for the end of the world for probably close to a decade now. A third of our life, at least me.
When the shit happens, God knows I'm definitely going to be raiding some places real quick.
Yeah.
Because I need some stuff.
Pharmacy,
not
Walmart.
For what you think it's for.
Yeah.
Not
for insulin. You're going to get pain meds.
Yeah. I need insulin and I probably get some antibiotics too. But here's the problem. I'm allergic to penicillin, so antibiotics.
You know what I found interesting, speaking of that? Did you know that a lot of these preppers are stocking up on, you can go online and buy tetracycline from a aquarium?
Yeah, I've heard that.
And the various other antibiotics, they're the same thing. They're just purposed for animals.
Yeah. But you can still use them as a person.
Right.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, right?
I just don't understand.
I've actually heard of people using tetracycline before. Unfortunately, I have a severe allergy to a lot of those things. So I can't really use them anyways.
You know what you can do, though? You can, because we live in an area that grows root vegetables well, you can get you some of that garlic.
Yeah, exactly. And I would suggest for anybody who imbibes in alcoholic esters would need to at least get a few packets of yeast to get things going.
Get them going, yeah.
Yeah. If you want to learn how to distill, you can. YouTube has everything. Use YouTube. Unfortunately, YouTube. I have a love-hate thing going on with YouTube, but there is a lot of useful information on there too.
Use it before the power goes out.
Yeah, you can learn how to do anything on YouTube virtually.
I don't know if you caught it. I sent Tubbs a lot of videos, some of them based around one of my favorite podcasts, the Higher Side Chats. But I don't know if you heard it. It was either on the newest one with Tracy Twyman, or it was the one with Max Egan. Mm-hmm. But they were talking about preparing for the inevitable either collapse of society or world war.
Yeah.
And they were talking about a previous episode where someone had made the point, it's time to learn about growing food now before it's too late.
Yeah, actually.
Before it becomes a life or death situation.
I'm planning on putting a garden in my backyard this year. You know where that wood pile is over in the corner?
Yeah.
I'm going to get rid of that wood because it's all rotted and shit anyways. I'm sure all that rotted wood has been putting some nice nutrients into the ground.
Good old nutrient souse.
Yeah, so I'm going to put a garden over in that corner. And I think I'm going to grow, here's what I'm going to do. This year, I want to learn how to make sauerkraut. For real. My forefathers, my grandmother used to make sauerkraut.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to learn that too.
And because here's the thing, I know how to can. And anybody out there should learn how to can. Growing, yes, you need to learn that first. Canning, you need to definitively learn that because, vegetables are great and all, but if you can only grow for 4 or 5 months out of the year, and then what are you going to do when fucking winter hits
right?
And you ain't got shit to eat?
Do you think, 2 questions about canning that I have.
Mm-hmm.
One, do you think there's any nutrient loss in the process?
It just depends on how you do it.
Boiling?
The way I do it, I don't think there is because I don't cook the vegetables long enough to cook them. I only cook them long enough. Say tomatoes, for example. The only thing I actually do to them cooking wise is I peel them. You have to put them in scalding water to get the skin off.
Mm-hmm.
Then seed them, right? Get the seeds out of them. And then you mash them. It's all still cold. Because as soon as you dunk it in that hot water for 10 seconds,
the skin comes off.
Skin comes off. You put it in cold water, skin peels off on its own, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when it comes to the canning process, I usually do it in small jars because the can will seal faster.
Yeah, less space.
And you'll get less heat inside the actual physical thing.
I see.
But no, I fully believe that tomatoes and stuff like that, which also have vitamin C and other things you need.
Yeah.
That's probably a big thing for people to grow. I'm going to grow cabbage because I want to make sauerkraut and I want to be able to preserve it.
My other question also goes for sauerkraut, but I'm always afraid of trying to preserve something or can something and it going bad because botulism, there's no room for error.
Especially
in a time when you need it.
So when it comes to
botulism,
and stuff, you just got to look for the telltale signs of there being the botulinum.
Isn't it odorless
bacteria.
And tasteless though?
Yeah, but the thing is, you should be able to tell. In the can, whenever it's canned and sealed, the dent will be in the top of the can will be slightly concave,
sucked in.
Yeah, because it's been sealed, right?
See. Yeah.
If the top is not concave and it's convex, it's bubbling out like pregnant.
What if it's flat?
Flat should be fine. As long as when you open it,
there's a click from the seal breaking.
Yeah, from the seal breaking, you should be good. But if the thing is that botulinum bacteria, if it's in there and it's growing, it won't be flat. It'll be pregnant because it's released gas. And it'll make it pop out.
So that goes for commercially bought canned food
as well.
So if you're stocking up on canned food,
you need to be wary of botulism.
Make sure there's nothing that's bowed out or popping off.
Also, if you really want to go deeper, unfortunately, if this were to happen, you have to employ pasteurization when it comes to any dairy products or anything like that as well. I know in this, people like to drink raw milk and stuff, but listeria is no joke.
Yeah. It's probably fine to do right now when you've got a medical establishment to fall back on.
Yeah, right.
But in the end,
as long as when
you're relearning things,
if you're fucking milking cows, you can't guarantee a perfectly sterile environment to do it in, because you're using an animal who shits and pisses just like you do.
Right.
Right. So, like I said, you have to be wary of those sicknesses.
See, I got some raw milk one time from Agris Girl. She brought it over to the apartment, and it was delicious. And Just shows how dumb I am, but I thought it had gone bad because of the fat cream collecting on the top.
No, that's
But that's
natural.
what you want.
Yeah.
That's what
That's how they
the crop.
Yeah, that's how they like where you get heavy cream half and half and stuff like that.
Right.
That's how that process plays out is you have to like let the milk settle.
Right.
Cream rises to the top.
For sure. In life and in milk.
Yeah. So
I also hit Craigslist one time and I went and got some raw milk, but I had to suck it out of the udder in a back alley.
Also, another thing you have to get used to is probably...
Sorry, I'll cut that out. I thought it was funny.
Oh, no, it's funny. Sorry, I burped. You have to cut that out.
No problem.
Less protein in your diet. That's just inevitable. You guys are going to have to move more toward a vegetable-based diet. Because, unfortunately, if we don't have refrigeration, we don't have a long-term way of keeping meat.
That's the only good thing about living in Ohio, that it's winter, sporadically.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about getting chickens the more I think about it, because you're not allowed to have livestock in the town that I live in, but you can have pets.
Some pet chickens.
The only difference is that you name them.
I just say eggs. Eggs are important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Plus, it's karma-free food. A lot of these vegans don't understand, but eggs happen whether or not
you eat them or not.
Fuck, yeah.
Now, putting them in cages too cramped for them to turn around in,
right,
and waiting for that process to happen is another thing.
If we're not killed by radiation by today's topic or by the geopolitical situation currently going on in Syria, we should totally do an episode on factory farming.
I'm cool with that because, I mean, my grandma was a farmer. I grew up around farming, and I'll tell you right now, what she did, that was family farming.
Yeah.
And that's where that's where me and vegans and PETA and stuff go butt heads.
Right. Well, they don't fucking know anything.
Because I was in the process, and I know the difference between factory farming and what she was doing.
Right.
And I think that oh God, this is almost...
It's just like hunting, though, in a way. They hate hunting, but a lot of especially trophy hunting, which I didn't know this, but I'm sure we've talked about it.
Yeah.
The same with, how you would let beef cattle die. Like, you'll kill them.
Yeah.
You'll raise them to maturity. They'll have a great life, full of space.
Yeah.
Great diet. They're never hungry. They never want for anything. And then when they hit maturity, you kill them.
Yeah.
But you kill them
ethically.
Right.
And I grew up on a farm, and I also worked in a slaughterhouse, a small slaughterhouse, not a big factory slaughterhouse. I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I've seen the way it can be done in a way. And I was talking about someone this the other day. I was like, it's not a coincidence. And then we talked about coincidence and chance and all that stuff not being existing.
It's not real. It's just a law unobserved.
Exactly. And that it's not coincidence that many major religions have specific rules on how to keep, take care of, and to slaughter animals.
Right. What do you think their big problem was with hooving animals before we get too far off the path?
I would say them being akin to sicknesses.
I mean, chickens eat their own shit.
That's true. But, I mean, I don't know, maybe pork just didn't appeal to them. Because they wallow in it. You know what I mean?
Right. The trophy hunting thing, too, fucked me up because I used to be against it. I thought it was wrong. You see these cocksuckers, and I'm sure some of them are just cocksuckers.
Yeah.
That just go out to shoot a fucking giraffe or shoot a fucking elephant or a rhino or whatever. But I didn't know that there was a large population of people that ethically killed the trophy hunting animals also.
Well, see, and here's the other thing you got to apply to trophy hunting. Okay, personally, I'm not trophy hunting because if I'm going to kill an animal, I'm going to use it.
Well, that's the thing they talk about in one of the Joe Rogan episodes. One of these guys was getting a lot of flack, and I mean a lot of flack.
Yeah.
For he killed I think it was a black rhino. Mm-hmm. But the thing was, this rhino had been saved, quote unquote, air quotes, and pulled into a reserve so it could breed, right?
Yeah.
But it was killing a lot of other rhinos.
Yeah, see, then that's a problem.
So they had to kill it. So what they did was it was like $350,000 to get a ticket, and then you went and hunted the thing.
Yeah.
And then you killed it, and then the African village that they were around, when they killed it, they literally used every part of that animal.
Well, see, then I don't see a problem
There's
with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't see it. Absolutely zero problem with that. If you're killing an animal and you're just cutting its head off and then leaving the corpse to rot.
Right, fuck that.
Then that's a fucking problem.
That's bad stewardship. That's one of the things in the Bible that I agree with, is that you are put on this earth to be a good steward.
Yeah, I think that's where people get all hemmed up on that shit, is because they always quote the dominion aspect.
Right.
But
stewardship is where
stewardship.
it's at. It's not dominion. Right.
We don't own the earth.
No.
Okay? We were given the ability, we were giving like a higher version of being a janitor.
Yeah.
More or less.
Custodian, dick.
And, yeah, right. And we're fucking it up.
Right.
Okay, so do you think it's time for us to get on our topic?
It is. This episode is about 5G, the rise of 5G. So I don't know if you knew anything about this before I sent it to you, but I when I was turned on to it by the Fireside Chats, I knew nothing of 5G.
I'm going to be honest, when you said it the first time, I didn't understand quite what the fuck you were talking about.
My basic opinion was that, we went from 3G to 4G, and 4G was awesome compared to 3G.
Yeah.
So 5G is going to be sweet.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of downloading movies illegally.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Mm-hmm. With air quotes. The download speeds have only increased. You went from 42 megabytes per second with 3G, and then you jumped up to 4G, which was 100, and that was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Then you went to 150, and you're watching like YouTube videos while you're driving. Like, it's not even a problem. And then they had that battle back and forth for unlimited data, which for them not to have unlimited data was fucking retarded.
It's still stupid.
It is.
Still stupid.
I made the jump a long time ago, so I never looked back. But originally that's what I thought. 5G is just going to be sweet, because you go from 1,000 megabytes a second with 4G LTE to 5G's fucking 10,000 megabytes a second. Mm-hmm. Jesus wept.
Yeah.
That is a lot of fucking data moving around.
Yeah.
And I had no idea of the full spectrum of like what this is going to do to us.
Yeah.
There have been all these theories in the past about what it's doing to us. Microwaving us in our sleep because you leave the Wi-Fi router on, which I don't do that anymore. Sleep is a time to fucking regenerate.
I need to start doing that too.
Just hit the plug.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's psychosomatic or not, but I feel like I get a fully restful night's sleep.
I'm going to try that now.
I also turn my phone on airplane mode because I watched a video. If you go to YouTube and type in, I think it's EMF detection cell phone. Mm-hmm. There's a guy on there who has a channel, and he has got it's like an EMF. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's a
electromagnetic field.
Yeah, electromagnetic field reader, and he'll put it next to things. So he puts it next to a cell phone that's just a regular cell phone, and that thing is going fucking crazy at all times. And then he turns it on airplane mode, or just turns it off.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. So you're constantly, whether or not you've got your phone in your passenger seat, in your pocket, you're blasting radiation into your body at all times.
Yeah.
And that's just with 4G.
Yeah.
5G is off the fucking chain.
Man. This is all bad.
What did they say the current rate of measurement is for these waves?
Millimeters.
Current? Because aren't we moving?
She converted to inches.
Okay.
To get an American perspective on it, but science uses the metric system.
But isn't the 5G millimeter wave? So it's a much smaller, more rapid?
Yeah. It's like, okay, so you're talking about before, she was talking about longer waves are like fucking over, like, we're talking like 20 inches long.
Yeah.
Huge waves, right? These waves are fucking small, tiny, less than 5 millimeter waves.
Right. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you, because we're face to face. And then afterwards I'll post them to the Facebook page and Instagram.
Just a sidebar real quick while you're looking that up. I was having a conversation with the doctor, his wife, and they were talking about how they went and saw the movie Ready Player One. Talking about the moral of the story was to shut your, every once in a while you need to shut your electronics off and just like live, be in the fucking moment, be in nature,
not be in the screen.
Exactly. And they said that, and they went with someone else, and I'm not going to say who it is, but they kind of shit on the movie. And was like, that's fucking stupid. There is it.
Of course.
And then immediately fucking puts his nose in his phone. Yeah. Nothing against him. I love the boy.
It is what it is.
Okay, so, but then it made me think, they kind of shit on the movie, the critics did. And that goes back to a thing that Passio said, that sometimes when movies get shit on by critics, that means there might have been a meeting that they didn't, that the powers that be didn't like.
Something you need to understand and
that is,
ascertain.
Shut your shit off.
Right. Turn your fucking shit off. That's what was crazy to me. Like when we went on vacation last fall to Gatlinburg, and my father-in-law and I, we did a lot of hiking. Not like easy hiking, like straight up hiking.
Yeah.
Up a fucking mountain.
Mm-hmm.
2 miles will make you want to rape yourself with a fucking saw blade. But the temptation there that I had no idea that I had was to take a picture of everything. Constantly have my phone out, right?
Yeah.
Shut that motherfucker off.
Yeah. When I go on vacation this year, I already decided
Yeah.
I'm not, like, when I go out and do stuff, the phone's staying in the room. I'm not taking it with me.
I'm going to we're doing a week vacation in June, going to the Outer Banks. For
we're going in June too, but yeah.
Only when we go to places that are like a right when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I see something of note, maybe.
Yeah.
But I want to document it for Instagram and for YouTube, for myself, for the followers,
Yeah.
for the Bones and Tubs Nation. But other than that, motherfucker's off. I'm not
Document
giving a
a little
fuck.
bit of it so that later when the 5G or 6G or whatever they'll have by that point is fucking just literally microwaving your goddamn brain.
Right.
You can remember that you actually did something at one point in time.
So here's an illustration. Like I said, everybody, I'll post this on the Facebook page and Instagram.
Oh, nice.
I believe it's Popular Science. They illustrated what it looks like for your cell phone.
Holy shit.
So that's the range. So even if you've got that thing in your glove box or your passenger seat, you're
still
getting
getting
blasted.
Yeah.
Radiation. They did a study here, which I wish I'd have done myself, and I guess it's not too late. But healthy plant germination versus plant next to a Wi-Fi router.
I've seen studies like that before.
Right.
It's like she said in that interview on the Higher Side Chats. She said, okay, so there's been 10,000 studies done on lead,
Right.
right? So that's 10,000 different studies to see the effects of lead poisoning,
Yeah.
right? She said there has been 25,000 studies done on radio frequency radiation.
Right.
Okay, so you're telling me they've done 25,000 studies, and we haven't heard a goddamn word of it.
That's because we don't have a healthy lead fucking industry that's pumping money into lawmakers. You know what I mean?
I remember when we were kids, when cell phones first started to pick up steam,
Yeah.
there was a lot of talk about brain tumors and stuff like that. And then it just kind of like
Shut the fuck up.
went right the
Went
fucking
away.
wayside.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and even though they talked about it in an interview, there's been instances where doctors who are coming out of medicine have said that they have noticed a distinctive rise as they're retiring,
Yeah.
a rise in brain diseases and brain tumors.
It's like she talked about I forget her name. We should look it up for posterity. But we're talking about this interview on the Higher Side Chats. I forget her fucking name.
Hold on, I'll get it.
While you're getting it, though, the picture we were looking at, side-by-side comparison of a wet paper towel with seeds germinating. It was a school experiment that discovers green cress will not germinate near a Wi-Fi router. And you see no wireless signals. You've got it looks like an overhead view of a forest. Like all these things are...
Susan Clark.
Okay, Susan Clark. Check out the interview with Susan Clark on the Higher Side Chats for more information. But then they did another paper towel with the same exact seeds near, close proximity, within 2 feet of a Wi-Fi router, and none of them germinated.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy.
Yeah. By the way, on the show today, I just wanted to give a shout out to this little dude that I got in my pocket.
Hashtag pocket kitten.
I got a pocket kitty today.
Yeah.
Poor thing was abandoned by its mother, so me and Tobeans have been taking care of it to make sure that it lives. You know?
Yeah.
Caring.
Just to hop back real quick. This is a mature plant in a Wi-Fi signal.
Wow, look at that.
Wilted, losing its leaves, which led me down the road, further looking into the future of what's happening with this 5G. And if you go onto YouTube and you type in 5G and you watch the video that they want you to watch, which is obviously the one toward the top, which explains how you need 5G because it's so great.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming. And think of all the downloads and all this. What they're not telling you is that, first of all, it's thousands of times more deadly than a regular signal that you're already killing yourself with over the interim. But they show pictures on some of these videos of 5G towers that they've already put up in like Sacramento or Palm Springs.
Yeah, disguising them as trees.
Yeah, trees or cactuses. Like all the plants around these things are dead. This one guy is panning his cell phone across his backyard. And you can see like other houses. And then within the range of view, you see like palm trees. And some of these palm trees, he's like, now I want you to see which of these seem healthiest. And a lot of them are fucking brown.
Yeah.
The closer he gets to like the center of his video, the browner they get. But the one in the middle is just fucking getting after it. It's thriving. That's because it's not real. It's a fucking antenna.
Yeah.
It's a 5G antenna. These things have a much stronger signal, but they're going to have to be, they have a vastly shorter range. So you're going to literally have these 5G towers popping up in your fucking backyard.
That was the key to it, was because the shorter the wave the signal,
the stronger
the less it could travel, right?
Right.
So because water actually interferes with it, which that should be a fucking bellwether for any human being anywhere.
Because you're made of water.
Okay, let me tell you something. What else in what we have, what you could go into your kitchen and find right now, has what in your kitchen has the ability to excite water molecules, but you in no way would ever stick anything living inside of it unless you were a fucking psychopath?
A microwave.
A microwave. Okay. These things excite, like water interferes with them. That's why you have to have a multitude of them, because the smaller the signal, the more interference there's going to be from water and stuff like that. And they even mentioned it in the show that people were touting the fact that they were going to be able to do surgery via 5G. And she said, that's impossible. That's impossible. There's no way they could do that because there's far too much interference for that to work. The shit kills me.
Literally.
They're trying to kill us.
Yeah. I mean, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit. It's like echoey.
I'm on the other side of the room. I'll be right back. But it should say something for the fact, like, we talk about these eugenists and these Satanists trying to kill us. I mean, it's on the goddamn Georgia Guidestones, what they're going to do to you, what they're trying to do, and what they are doing. I mean, it should be no more apparent than the fact that they're going to be broadcasting microwave into your fucking house from your backyard.
Yeah. They are attempting to fucking literally nuke our fucking brains. And then an interesting sidebar on that when she mentioned the fact that a lot of times with these shootings, what happens is people say they hear voices in their head and they go to the police before it happens. And the police just like, okay. And then 2 days later, they fucking gun a bunch of people down.
Right. Just Google Voice of God, Iraq, I believe is what I used to find it. But they had this, it was a weapon that they used when they invaded Iraq. And it's well documented that even the prisoners of war in Guantanamo, some of them made false confessions because they heard Allah. They'll say they heard Allah come to them in the middle of the night and say, I know you didn't do this, but you must, for the will of Allah, come forward and take these allegations. Mm-hmm. They had one where they had like a line of our troops. I use the word our because I'm brainwashed, but United States troops were fighting in the mountains. They broadcast this signal down to the troops that could hear it on the mountain, that Allah called them to the front of the line. Drop your weapons and come forward. And they did. And then they all got mowed down.
That's fucking crazy.
Right. So
let's put it this way. If you suddenly hear a voice in your head saying it's God and saying to do something that would probably not be the smartest thing to do
probably
to
not
preserve
God.
your existence.
Yeah.
Probably not God.
There's all kinds of interesting things you can think about now that we know about this. And we're not getting into it nearly as deep as it needs to be gotten into, but we're not, like, you know, we're not spending hours and hours of research into this, just what we've done to spread the word. But think of all the things that they've changed, right?
Yeah.
Like this guy I listened to on YouTube, just typing 5G and going down the rabbit hole. He was talking about things you could do to protect yourself, because just the fact that they've got these things outside your house killing your plants and killing you when you're around them is not going to give you 5G. You're going to have something in your house to pick up the signal and rebroadcast this. You're going to be broadcasting this shit from your fucking house.
Yeah.
Same way you do right now with the 4G router. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you know, just start by turning off your router now at night when you go to sleep and see the difference.
Yeah.
Maybe put a houseplant next to the motherfucker. See what happens. But, like, you know, they got rid of lead paint for good reason, because people were eating it.
Yeah.
Don't eat it. If we had lead paint now, there'd be a lot less penetration. Yeah. I'm just saying. They also say that you can use aluminum screens will block a lot of it in your windows. There are certain paints that you can get that are specifically tailored for EMF blocking. It's not cheap at all, but it is effective.
Yeah, of course it's not.
But now is the time, you know, to seriously consider these things, because 5G is coming, and there's broader implications of this we'll get into, but I mean, it's already being put in place. They're already, and if any of you guys have pictures of these towers, they look like regular cell phone towers, but they're shorter, and they've also they're like shoebox lids. Yeah. They're rectangular. Those are the ones that broadcast 5G. Send us the pictures.
And also, send us the pictures. And also, a little side thing on this they talked about that I thought was interesting was the whole notion of social currency in China.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to get into, too.
Holy fucking shit.
Now, one of the things, was it Max Egan?
It was Max Egan. Yeah, he was the one talking about social currency.
Okay, Max Egan, Higher Side Chats is a great interview. Or even, I can't remember the name of his podcast. But go to YouTube and type in Max Egan and listen to him because he's on point.
So, yeah.
But he talked about in China, they're using a social credit system, which, and he brings in a great argument with cryptocurrency that everybody's excited about crypto because it's going to end the Federal Reserve and the international banking.
Central banking, yeah.
The only reason why that doesn't matter is because this is what they want.
Yeah, okay, so basically this is what social currency means, right? They're actually employing it in China already.
Yeah.
The notion is that it doesn't matter how much money you have. You get a social credit score, more or less, right?
You could be sitting on 1,000 Bitcoin or whatever currency you want.
But you can't buy a plane ticket, a train ticket, nothing. Because you've been put on some sort of fucking list.
Don't they have 1,000 people right now that are unable to leave the country?
Oh, no, it's more than that. It's like 1.7 million people.
Holy fucking shit.
Can't leave the country now because they've been put on the social blacklist. Okay, if you want a good perspective on what we're talking about here, a really good episode of Black Mirror, I would suggest, is one that has Bryce Dallas Howard in it. And it's a social media network where you get judged by other people.
That's a creepy show.
And everything that you do revolves around this score that you get from other people, right?
Right.
So, like, discounts on things, being able to fly, being able to do anything revolves around the fact that you have a decent social score with other people.
Yeah. And it's actually happening
and
right now.
They're purporting it. There's people who are saying this is a great idea because it will make people more honest and da-da-da-da-da.
No, it's not.
No, fuck that.
No.
My ability to fly, my ability to go and travel and do whatever the fuck I want should not depend on somebody else's fucking opinion of me. Fuck that.
It's crazy if you think about it in the natural law sense in the first place that we've allowed the certain travel restrictions to be put in place that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said about drunk driving, obviously. I mean, I guess they should take your license, right? Mm-hmm. Because you've shown yourself, especially somebody that's habitual, 6, 7, 8 times, or somebody that hurts somebody in the process. But, I mean, if you are pulled over by a police officer, they can now charge you with an OVI for being tired.
Yeah.
You can literally be just tired. I've fallen asleep before when I used to work third shift at my old job, and I got pulled over because I was driving reckless. Luckily he was cool and let me go. I don't think they'd passed the amendment to the OVI law at that time, but that could have been an OVI charge.
Just because you were tired.
Right.
Because you've been working at your job.
Right. And I understand public safety. I get that. But are you able to take away somebody's right to travel, you personally?
No.
So how can we delegate that power to another? It's just like taxes.
Yeah.
Can you tax your neighbor? Can you go over there to your neighbor who your dog has made a friend out of?
Yeah.
And be like, listen.
He's fucked my yard up.
Due to your dog's likability with my dog, he has fucked my yard up. So I've decided I'm going to give you a emergency 1% tax.
Here's a bill.
You can't fucking do that.
Yeah.
So how then can you delegate a right that you don't possess upon another group of people?
Exactly.
Fuck that.
No.
Man.
No. I'm good on that.
I say now, just to hop around sporadically like a sociopath and a psychopath that I am, but if these fucking towers start popping up like they're going to, that is a call to action.
Yeah.
Tear those motherfuckers down.
Sabotage.
They've got a video on YouTube that we keep getting comments on. I don't know if you saw it in our email.
I did.
But I commented, I forget, there's some crazy tower that's popped up in a city somewhere, and they did a news story on it. But it's a 5G tower. And somebody said, I wonder if any good old boys have done a non-scientific study to see how these towers stand up against pop shots. And I said, that's what we need to do.
Yeah. Because
honestly, they can put them back up.
Yeah.
But if everybody shoots them down, they won't afford it.
Exactly.
It's a war of attrition.
Yeah. Exactly.
Basically, do you want to be microwaved to death?
Yeah.
They have done 0 public safety studies on any of this shit, 5G.
Mm-hmm.
And they're already rolling it out. A lot of these meetings that you hear Trump going to, I just learned this, talking about infrastructure. Mm-hmm. He cloaks it and bathes it in the thing of how shitty our streets are.
Yeah.
And our bridges. And,
But this is talking about 5G rollout.
It's all about 5G rollout. It's not about anything else.
Yeah.
Our roads are going to continue to suck a fat cock while you're
He's-
downloading stuff at high speeds and dying.
half the goddamn population, he's going to come on and say, this is huge, it's going to make everything better,
Yeah.
and all that fucking shit. And half the fucking population is going to gobble it down.
Right.
And the other half of it is just going to be like, they're not going to fucking fight it because they've already been indoctrinated by the other side not to do anything about it.
I misspoke. It's not 1,000 times stronger. It's 50 times stronger.
Regardless.
My fault.
Yeah.
It's not being tested for health and safety. Here are some of the stats I wrote down. 50 times stronger than a signal of 3 or 4G. 400,000 new towers to be installed nationwide. And 8 times more transmitters to add to existing towers. Aimed to connect any and everything. From pills to refrigerators. So this goes into this whole
nanotech
cashless society. But they've got it now. You can find a RFID pill. Just type that in and look it up. Where the elderly, of course, it's going to protect the elderly.
Yeah.
To make sure they didn't miss a dose.
And then, children and stuff like that too.
Because, babies, children.
Because if you attack children, then you're a fucking monster.
Unless you're part of the establishment. Then you can kill all the babies you want.
Yeah.
But think about it this way. They're building a society where we're going to be bathed in this 5G to where, well, guess what? We won't have to have cashiers anymore because everything you buy has an RFID chip or a microchip in it. And when you just walk through a scanner, it'll tell you what you owe. And it'll automatically be deducted from your social score.
Yeah.
Right? But on the same hand, I read another interesting article about autism. What if it's not just the fact that these shots have mercury and high levels of metal, but we're adding metal to the air through the, it's not chemtrails because those are a conspiracy, but what's admitted from government papers is solar radiation management, where they're spraying high levels of metal into the atmosphere. This is admitted.
Yeah.
Google social radiation management. And you'll find it. And that's what's in these goddamn clouds that they're making out of planes. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's a fact.
Yeah.
So everything's being bathed in heavy metals. That's why the trees are dying off crazily. Like, why is that tree in the middle? Some trees can't handle it.
Yeah.
But they're being bathed in micronized aluminum, barium, and all these other metals. You're breathing this shit in. It's in your food, right? It's in the shots that they're giving these babies. You're getting up to 250% more aluminum than you can handle from the time you're a baby born out of a vagina to 6 years old.
Yeah.
You literally are swimming in metal. So
Yeah.
what's this shit going to do to you?
If you're metal and they're sending fucking millimeter waves at your ass.
Put a fork in the microwave.
Yeah. See what happens.
Tell me what happens. Send us pictures.
And I think that about does it for this episode.
Sorry. I
No.
got a little carried away.
Oh, no, that's fine. I actually wanted to end with one more thing, a project for our listeners. If you don't know already, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to get on Google, and I want you to type in social contract. Okay?
Oh, yes.
Social
contract.
I want you to read what the social contract is. Okay? And then I want you to understand one thing, and this is my belief, and I'm sure I kind of talked to my partner about this. I believe the social contract is a spell.
Yeah.
That has been... Because you need to learn what this spell is. Because the only reason the spell works is because you don't know what it is. Learn what the social contract is and understand that you are against it.
Yeah.
Hopefully. If you're not against it, then I don't know why you're listening to this show.
Before we get into that real quick, do you remember when Jimmy was born?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember them giving him a pen to sign a contract?
No.
Like they went around the whole shots thing, they checked him, they gave him the eye rub?
No. Not once did they give him anything to sign.
So he didn't sign any documents?
No.
Oh, okay. Did you sign any documents?
No.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
So, okay. Yeah. Look up social contract if you don't know what it is already and understand that it is a spell. Okay?
The only way to break a spell is to recognize it and say no.
No. The most powerful word in the English language.
N-O. No.
We'd like to thank you all for listening.
Mm.
I think this has been a great show.
I feel good.
I feel good, too.
It's either good therapy or a good show, one or the other.
Yeah. We'd like to thank our Patreon contributors. Hopefully, we'll have more on the next show to give you.
Just give us $1.
Yeah, $1. That's all you need to
You'll
give.
jump in on that raw.
We'd like to thank Ryan Simpson for letting us use his music on the show.
Thank you.
We hope to see you next week, and we hope you have a safe and happy week.
Taxation is theft, and we love you.
We really do.